Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today for a foundation wear test. I know that this foundation is everywhere at the moment and this brand in general is everywhere at the moment, and I know, like, I follow a lot of beauty YouTube channels, so I am sick of seeing it everywhere as well, so I apologize. But I actually bought this for a makeup breakup video, so you'll see it up in the corner if you're familiar with beauty news and our series The Makeup Breakup. So that's why we bought this. Now, with most things in the makeup breakup, we try to keep it and use the product, so we just saw how many pumps were in this, how much product you can actually get out of it, and then I poured it back in and used it, and I was actually quite surprised at how much I liked it. This is the third day I've used it, so it's sort of like an early impressions, it's not a first impressions, but I wanted to show you guys like how it wears and how it looks, because I do genuinely like it. I find that when I have foundations that I don't love, like the Ordinary foundation, I'm less inclined to want to do these because you spend so much time testing it out and talking about it and editing, and you're talking about something that you really hate. So I might do that in the future, but I really wanted to tell you guys about this. So Fenty Beauty is Rihanna's makeup line. It was launched in Sephora just the other week, and it was launched worldwide in Sephora at the same time, so everyone could get it on launch day. Now, I did order this online. The foundation's $50 in Australia. I will put links down in the description box if you want to purchase it. I'll also put on the screen what the price is in other currencies. I'm not too sure at the moment, but you get 32 mils in this. It's got a pump applicator, it's quite handy, and it comes in 40 shades. So she has made a point of really including most people or most skin colors in the range, which is really, really good. My shade is 170 and I ordered this online. It happened to be a really good match. I ended up ordering it on the Sephora Australia website, and there's free shipping over $50, so you can get this with free shipping. And there is like a little match box that pops up if you want to choose a foundation match. You can put in some of your other foundations that you have and it will recommend what shade would suit you, and I think it did a good job. It recommended one that's really good. So they do have like different undertones as well. So mine is 170, which is like a light cool, I think, so it's more of a pink undertone. There's neutral and there's warm. So this foundation is actually called the Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. It's got 32 mils and yeah, it's got beautiful frosted packaging. You're supposed to shake before you use it. It's supposed to last 12 months from opening. It's just a really nice design. It's a glass packaging, so it's not a really cheap feeling packaging. It's very nice quality. And I think for the product and the amount of product, I think it's fair priced. Like, I've got other foundations that are as nice as this and they're more like $80, $85. So I would definitely, if you want a good foundation that does have like a matte longwear finish, I think this is a nice one for the price range. Also, Fenty Beauty is cruelty-free. They don't sell in China, so if you are concerned about cruelty-free, this is cruelty-free. It doesn't say it's vegan though, so just be aware that it might not be vegan, but it definitely is cruelty-free. So not only is this supposed to have a soft matte finish and be long wear, but the coverage is supposed to be medium but buildable to a full coverage. So we will test that out, and then what I'll do is wear this for 8, 9, 10 hours and I'll check back and see what it's like on my skin. My skin is oily combination, so I get a very oily T-zone. I've got like normal cheeks and I'm quite dehydrated. So I do look for something that will last a long time, have a matte finish, and that won't break down on me. So that's what I'm looking for. I've also got aging skin, let's be real. I'm 31, so I don't want it to settle in lines or crease as well. So those are my main things I look for in a foundation, and we'll see if this, you know, ticks the boxes. All right, so we're all makeup free. I did put some brows on because I've got some hormonal spots and stuff going on, and I thought, look, I don't want to scare you too much, so I put the brows on. Okay, so we're putting this on. I'm going to be applying it with a beauty blender, like a legit beauty blender. I have worn this twice, and the last couple of times I put it on, I used my fingers and it worked really, really well. It wasn't streaky, it was really, really smooth. This is sort of like a runnier formula of foundation, so I think you could have some streaky issues with a brush. But yeah, let's do it. I also thought I'd mention that I'm not going to put primer on today. I have worn this, like I said, twice, and one time I wore primer, the other time I didn't. And I didn't notice any difference in the longevity or how it sat on the skin or anything. So I thought I'll just go, you know, straight up and just apply it to my naked skin. The primer that I do generally use is by Dermalogica, and it's the Hydra Blur. I just like using this because it sort of like fills in pores a little bit and also keeps your skin hydrated. So I kind of use this more for the skin benefits than how it makes my foundation last. So I just thought I'll skip that step for today, and we'll apply this. So it is 10:20 in the morning, so I'm going to try to wear this all day and check in later tonight so you can really see how it lasts. This also says shake well, so I will. See, because this is so runny, I'm sort of like reluctant to put it on my sponge because I reckon this will absorb a lot of it. But I'm going to do it anyway. Let's do it. Ugh. I'm going to put 2 pumps. Oh my god, let's zoom in and see all the problems with my skin. Alright, let's start with this side so you can see the kind of coverage difference. You can see I've got redness going on. It's a thing. I find this colour match to be quite good for me, and I was really surprised because I chose this online. Sephora do have sort of like a colour, like a foundation colour match program that they linked me to, which was really cool. It was just in like a pop-up box, and you put in some of your foundations that you currently use and what shades, and I also look greasy because I've put sunscreen on. Yeah, and your shades, and then it gives you a recommendation, and I think this was pretty accurate, so I was quite happy with that. So this is 2 pumps, and this is a really nice kind of finish. It doesn't look like it doesn't look really heavy. It just looks like my skin, but better. And it does cover a lot of redness. See, look at that versus that. I don't have really breakouts on this side. We'll see what the breakout looks like how it covers it here. But I'm really, really happy with that coverage. That's the amount of coverage I want on a daily basis. And you can see how easy that was just to blend in. And I can confirm it's also just as easy with your hands. So that's really good. It's also sort of already set. It's got a slight sheen, but it's definitely already setting. And compared to my sunscreen face, you can see how like that does reduce the shine. So it's really good. It matches my neck. It's good. I like the color. So that's the half-half, which is quite interesting. All right, let's do the other side of the face. Like I said, this did absorb a lot. You can see that there's like a part that almost looks like it just has absorbed a lot of foundation. So if you do want to, if this is out of your price range and you're like, oh, I want to use as much as I can without wasting it, I would say go in with your fingers because you use a lot less. So that was 2 pumps. I think with my fingers I can do a whole face using 2 pumps. I might actually test that. I might do 1 pump on this side just with my fingers. So it just sort of glides over pores really well. So I might put this on just with my fingers to show you the difference, and then I might just blend it out around like my eyes with the sponge, because I do find that like it can kind of create like a weird line when you use your fingers. But fingers are great. If you've got clean hands, go for your life. It's like the nature's sponge. But you can definitely see that the coverage is a lot better with your fingers. That's 2 pumps, that's 1 pump. So definitely goes a lot further if you use your fingers. All right, so hopefully you can see that that is done with my fingers, that's done with the sponge. This one is a little bit heavier coverage. I actually prefer this finish though because it looks a little bit more skin-like. This sort of, it still looks really great. I just think it looks a tiny bit heavier, but there's not much difference. Like if I walked outside, people wouldn't be like, oh my God, one side of your face is a little bit heavier than the other. But I do prefer this kind of finish. It was a lot quicker to do, but it used up a lot more product. So it's up to you which one you want to do, but they both look really great. Also, I have heard people say that this does oxidize on them. And I have used this a couple of days in a row and I haven't personally experienced it myself. Not saying that it doesn't do that. I just don't know if this shade might not oxidize too much, or if potentially because it's been really cold weather. I know heat really makes things oxidize a lot more. So like my foundations oxidize a lot more in summer than they do winter. It's been quite cold here. So I'm not saying it doesn't, but But I would say if you're looking at buying one of these shades, go a shade, like if you're in between two shades, go the lighter one. You can always bronze it up and make it match you a lot better, which is what I tend to do because like, yeah, I go lighter because my neck is light and I just kind of warm up my face a little bit by bronzing. Also, you might run the risk of oxidizing. So I would say go one slightly lighter. But yeah, because this foundation does set, it means that you can put a second layer and build up the coverage, which is good. And that's also what it claims to do. So you'd expect it to do that. All right, so that's how it's applied with nothing else on top. I will go and put a little bit of concealer under my eyes. I don't feel like I need it. If I was just going to work or something, I wouldn't bother, but because I'm planning on filming another video, I will. I'll powder this because like I do have oily skin, and if you had drier skin, this foundation is probably not for you because it is like it does dry down a little bit. Like it almost feels like it's not a powdery finish, but it's, yeah, definitely a matte finish. So if you've got dry skin, I wouldn't recommend this. But if you've got normal skin and you like a matte finish, you probably won't need to powder at all. Personally, I do. I get very oily in the T-zone and makeup just sort of slips off my face. So I'm going to go powder. And then I'm going to go do my makeup and come back and show you what it looks like set. And then we'll just check in a few hours' time. Alright, hopefully you can see that it's looking really, really natural. I did put a bit of highlighter on, I did put a blush on, I did put a kind of like a shimmery bronzer on because I'm testing out new makeup. But it sits really, really nice, and you can see like around the nose, it looks natural, but it hasn't started really breaking down. The shininess is from where I put like a shimmery bronzer. It's not like greasy, so I'm really liking, like you can still feel like it's very, very matte. It's very, very set, and it's not at all going dewy. So I really like it. It looks really, really natural. I do get a little bit of redness peeking through. I've got a bit of blush on, but it kind of emphasizes some of the redness underneath. But once again, those were kind of the areas that I didn't build up. It is a medium buildable finish, but I think it looks really natural. I like it. Good so far. I'll check in later. All right, hopefully you can see it's 4:30. So I've had this foundation on for 6 hours or just over 6 hours. And I really like it. I've been out in the sun. It's been a nice day today, which is great. The weather brought it for me. So I went out and had a coffee with my mum. We're sitting in the park. So I'm a little bit shiny. You can see it. But the makeup has not broken down, and it's mainly just shiny on my forehead as well. It's the rest of my face seems quite good. Around my nose, it hasn't really broken down much at all. I do have some sunglasses marks slightly, but it's not a big deal. And I'm 100% confident if I blot this or powder this, it would look really refreshed. I might actually do that just to test it. I will probably come back and check in a bit later on as well. So I'm just going to powder that a little bit with my translucent setting powder from Rimmel and just getting that on a brush. I would prefer to just blot this, but I don't have my blotting sheets with me. But you can see that just even with a little bit of powder, it all of a sudden takes down that shininess and it will make it last a lot longer. Shiny on the chin too. So yeah, just like forehead and down my, like around the corners of my nose and my chin, if you just touch up some of that, it almost looks like as good as new. So super easy to touch up. It's worn off a little bit. You can see a little bit of red coming through, a little bit of red on my nose, but it still looks good. It looks kind of natural. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look like it's settled into pores. It hasn't like creased. I'm actually really happy with it. I think it looks really nice and yeah, healthy. A little bit dewy that it got, but you know, nothing too bad. And I do have quite oily skin and I was in the sun. So, all right, last check-in time. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night and I've been wearing this for around, what is that, 11 and a half hours. And it has gone very shiny again. So I did touch up at what, the 6-hour mark. I just powdered forehead and T-zone and chin, around my nose, on my cheeks, and my forehead is really, really oily. So when I say that I'm an oily skinned person, it ain't no lie. This part is normal and fine. I've just got a highlighter so it looks shiny, but it's mainly forehead and T-zone. But the foundation hasn't really broken down. I'll zoom in. All right, there's my shininess. Look at it. Oh, catch that light, girl. Catch that light. But you can see like around the nose, it hasn't broken down too much. Often there's like big patches of where the foundation has completely broken down, and it hasn't done that. Often some foundations, my whole nose is just no foundation. So this has held together quite well. Like I said, it's fine on my cheeks. Chin is oily, starting to break down. But if I did powder again, I'm sure, if I did blot and powder, I'm sure that this situation would be a lot better. All right, let's zoom out because that's a mess. This is a mess too, it's disgusting. Look, I'm just gonna powder because in the viewfinder, I'm like annoying myself with the shine. So let's just powder some of that. If I was this oily, I would definitely blot before I powdered, but you know, we're on camera. We're just hurrying up, getting this done. All right, so my conclusion about this foundation, which is the Fenty Pro Filt'r Foundation, is that I actually really like it. I'm an oily person. It's a thing. Oil's always going to break through. It eventually comes out. And no foundations control it completely. Now with this one, I do think it does last a long time. You can see that I could pretty much get 12 hours. It doesn't hold up perfectly, but it's a full working day, and that's kind of all I expect from a foundation. If I can put it on in the morning and it'll last until, like, if I go out for drinks or something after work, if it kind of lasts the whole way through, if I need to touch it up once, doesn't really bother me. But as long as it kind of holds on and doesn't completely melt off, then it's a decent foundation, and that's why I like this. I also really like the finish. It looks really natural. It doesn't kind of sink into pores or crease up or do anything funny. It just kind of looks really flawless, really natural, really perfected. There's a little bug. That's cool. I also like that it's medium coverage but buildable, because I don't want super full coverage every day, but I do want medium. I like the ability to go in and build it. I think the shade match works for me. I really like that it sets. I like that it feels matte but not powdery or not dry. So yeah, I really like this. Yeah, even though I look like a mess, this is a lot better than most foundations that I use. And I think the only exceptions tend to be things like Revlon Color Stay, that's designed to be more like 24-hour wear. Besides that, this has, you know, lasted really well on me. So I do recommend this for people that have normal to oilier skin. Now, if you've got super oily skin, you're gonna have to set it with a powder, but you're then gonna have to touch it up throughout the day, blot, powder, do that kind of thing, but it should still hold up looking good and looking quite flawless. If you do have drier skin, this probably is going to be too dry and too matte for you, but I like it. I like the shade range. I don't mind the price. I like that you can get it in all Sephora's. I just think it's a good all-rounder foundation for my oily combination, dehydrated, aging skin. It works. I enjoy it. So thumbs up from me. If you like these reviews, let me know if you want to see other ones, and I'll see you guys next time.